Well, hello, my friends, and happy Sunday to you. Look at this cutie we're creating today. So I'm starting out on an 11 by 14 MDF board, and I have just grabbed some collage papers. These are two different collage packs that I'm using today. Vintage journals and ornate wallpaper, and both of these will be on sale for you if you'd like to grab them and use them in your project. But I'm just putting everything down with my Liquitex fluid matte medium. And I'm really just kind of having fun. I'm experimenting too. I needed to just kind of not think or worry about how the project was going to turn out and just create. I know you probably can relate to that. I just wanted to get my hands messy and just have fun. And these vintage or these ornate wallpapers I just absolutely loved. And so I really wanted them to show up. And I actually, for the first time, I think, did a really good job at having them show up and not getting too overcomplicated with the background. The background is usually my favorite thing because it gets all grungy and good. And I did a pretty good job at keeping it, at least those flowers at the top, visible. I'm using lots of Blick matte acrylics. I wanted it to be super matte so that I could get some good stenciling and shading and that kind of thing. So, and I'm just putting a layer of, it's kind of a beige and a gray tone on the background, and then just really working hard to pull it back up so that my papers show through and they look really good. And you can see I'm rubbing my hand over the top there. That is a great way to get a real kind of aged feel when you kind of pull back the paint with your hand. It just gives it kind of a worn look, and that's really what I was going for. And so I kind of go back and forth here, picking up and putting some down just to get that kind of right aged, worn look. I'm still using the Blick matte paint, but you can see I just dipped my hand right in my water bucket and came back over it and then kind of picked that up. And this color here from Blick is a beautiful soft teal color, and all of the supplies will be listed on the blog, and the link to the blog will be down below in the YouTube description box. But this is a new color to me. The grayer color is sage, and then that teal, it's so beautiful, and the two mix together because the sage kind of has that kind of muted olivey green color. So good. But I am just getting my paint down, and I wanted to be really, really messy. Like I said, this was about experimenting, and to just kind of leave the background like it was took a lot of willpower to just leave it. And I'm so glad that I did. And this whole piece is about how the meaning of it is how life is just one big giant experiment in reality, and we have to just try things, try new things. And I'm always fearful of new things, and so I have to really push myself. So this is all about change is good and doing things that are out of our comfort zone. So I've got a Stabilo all pencil out here, and I'm going to just sketch out some real sketchy leaves. And I've got a weird combination of flowers here too, and I did that on purpose. So I'm going to have some fall leaves, and then I'm going to do some hydrangeas and some mums. And hydrangeas are symbolizing summer. Hydrangeas and the mums are symbolizing fall. And that change, and how we sometimes can get stuck in a different season, and that change is good and we need to move on to the next season. So that's what it's all about: experimenting, letting go, trying new things, and accepting change in my life. And so this is the fall leaves small stencil. I have a large one too that that just came out, but this is the small one. And I'm using 3 different colors of the Blick matte paint on my leaves. And I always do this kind of with my leaves, and the color is just so beautiful. And again, all those colors will be listed on the blog. I'm adding a tiny bit of green into the leaves because you know how sometimes when they're changing, there's a tiny bit of green in there still. And so I love it. Love the leaves, love the colors. Now, I wanted some texture on my vase, and you're going to see throughout the video that this vase gave me a run for my money. And again, when we're experimenting, I experimented with new colors that I would not have typically put on this vase. But this was all about getting out of my comfort zone and accepting change and whatever comes with it and being okay with imperfection. And so you'll see me struggle with this vase all throughout the video. The color just did not sit well with me. And yeah, I don't think I'll need to explain anything. You'll see it, and I struggle with it, trying to find the right color, the right shading, the right everything. And to be able to let that texture from the gesso that I put on there with my palette knife show through. So I got some golden high flow out, and this is quinacridone red, a color I don't use, and there's a reason. And as soon as I put it down, I was like, oh, it's close to magenta, but not quite. And then this is Bombay ink, or India ink, in like it's called deep fuchsia or something like that. Well, I positively hated this color. And I don't hate color, but these two together just did not. With the leaves were pretty, the papers were pretty, and then there was this. I tried to throw in a little bit of sepia high flow to tone it down and give it some grunginess. No. Yeah, so it is what it is. But the thing is that when this happens, it'll all be fine. I worked it till it was acceptable. And also it confirmed to me, okay, there's a reason why I don't like the quinacridone red. I even thought, well, I'll throw in a little teal because teal makes everything better. It did not. It did not make this vase better. It just was a hot mess for a really long time. So I spend way too much time on this vase, and I just finally let it be. I put a little bit of alcohol on my rag and thought, well, I'll just pull up the paint and kind of maybe start over. And all that did was take that red and make it pink. And yeah, so I just let it be for now. And that's what you have to do when you're creating and you're not sure of what's next or what you like. You know, if you're not liking something, move on to another part of the piece and come back to it. So I'm working on my leaves, and I've kind of planned out where my flowers are going to go, and I'm putting in my leaves, my hydrangea leaves and my mum leaves. I'm mixing my olive green with a little bit of raw umber to give them kind of a dulled down look. And I wanted my hydrangeas to be soft, kind of like, because I have some hydrangea bushes that have now, you know, summer is over and they're kind of dried. And so they become this gorgeous, like sepia color with a little bit of pink in there. And that's kind of what I was going for. And I was really happy with the color that I got. And again, it's symbolizing the end of a season onto a new season, experimenting, change, all those kinds of things. I'm just coming back in with my brush. I use my stencils as my guide. I don't have to think about it. It tells me where to paint. Just put in some additional highlight, low light colors on my stencil area and kind of fill things in. And that's all I need to do. I don't have to think about it, draw it out, all that kind of stuff. So stencils are my friend for sure. The hydrangea stencil and the mum stencil will also, and the leaves will be on sale this week for you. I'm going to stencil in my mums with burnt sienna and some orange and some yellow. And I do this technique where I shift the stencil over just to kind of fill it in a little bit, and I'll use a different color. And it just makes it nice and full. And I'm back to the vase, trying to tone down that hot pink, whatever that color is that I have created. And really, honestly, if I'd looked back a little bit, I probably could have stopped here, but of course I didn't. Just going to fill in my mums now, like I did with my hydrangeas, using a variety of different colors, yellows, oranges, so a little bit of gesso mixed in. Putting a little highlight on my leaves and kind of filling in some of the lines there. I'm going to touch up the background just a tiny bit. I didn't really do a whole lot more. I kind of filled in a few spots around the flowers just to kind of separate them a little bit from the background, but not much. And I'm super pleased with how it looks. Now I'm going to come back over my vines with my Stabilo All pencil and just kind of reinforce those lines and, and activate the pencil. A Stabilo All is a water-soluble pencil. Gonna add some shading to my vase, see if that helps. It didn't. So I share some more thoughts about this piece and what it represents for me on the blog, along with all the supply links and pictures and all the details. And that link is down below in the YouTube description box. Now I've just got a variety of soft pastels, and I'm just going to go to town and do some shading and add some marks, some highlights. Just really kind of enjoy the process. Of course, I will work on that vase a few more times. And it ended up okay. I'm using a variety of soft pastels, Arteza, Soho, Gallery. I'm going to use my General's charcoal pencil and really kind of shade around each and every leaf thing, and make some scratchy lines. So I'm using quite a few different colors for shading, some kind of purpley grays, some browns, some dark purples. Again, experimenting with change, just trying to have fun and learn new things. And yep, here I go again with that vase. Sometimes we just have to accept what things are and learn to be okay with them, but I didn't. And I fussed with it. Like right now, it probably would have been just fine if I'd left it like this. But I couldn't see the texture, and I really wanted to see the texture. So I was stubborn and decided not to leave it like this. So here I go. Got some alcohol on my rag and I do it all over again. Sometimes, that's how it is in life. You're like, why am I doing this again? Oh my goodness. Anyway, I just decided to let it be. I kind of liked the highlight here now, so. My friends, I hope you enjoyed today's project. I'm just going to continue to add some additional shading and touches here and there. If you enjoyed today's project, I hope you subscribe and like and share and all those wonderful things. Head on over to the blog to get the supplies and links and a little bit deeper meaning into this piece. And I hope you try it and have fun and experiment yourself. I do spray this with my Liquitex varnish, and because I've got so much soft pastel on there, and then I put some vintage words on there from a children's book called Change is Good, and it is. All right, my friends, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope that you always know that you are loved, and I'll see you next week.